a public example.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 13.
22 and 13. And what we're going to read here is exactly get some understanding on that ceremony and see how it applies to what we just read in Matthew
1 and 19, and why he wanted to put her away privately and not make her a public example. Verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead and start again, brother.
Okay.
Starting at verse 13.
Deuteronomy 22 and 13. Let any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her. No, excuse me. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasions of speech against her, and bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid.
Okay, so we know this is referring to a man taking a woman as his wife. Okay, and give an occasion of speech against her, or bring up an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. Okay, go ahead and continue from verse 15. So it's setting up the do's and don'ts and the procedures and how, basically the law of how to operate, as man and woman in cases of marriage. Okay.
Verse 15. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel.
Okay, so what we were saying up until then, if you have a man who takes a woman and then he found her not a maid, right? So he's making an accusation against this woman here, just to make sure we're clear. In verse 14, he found her not a maid, or he wasn't pleased with this woman and the exchange, or felt that she wasn't honest and had already dealt with someone else previous to himself. That's what this is referring to. So he's making the accusation of this. And go ahead and start from verse 15.
Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the token of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the...
Okay, so if this man comes and says, this woman, this exchange wasn't fair, it wasn't what it was supposed to be, the woman was not a maid, or has already dealt, he brings this accusation. It says then in verse 15, then shall the father of the damsel, of this woman who is being accused, and her mother will take and bring forth the tokens of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. So they're going to come to her defense with proof of and to try to hold the dignity intact of this woman who's being accused. Okay. And we'll get into more detail as we go on, but I want to make sure we understand what the scriptures are what it's saying here and referring to as we read. Verse 16.
And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hated her. And lo, he has given occasions of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city, and the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him.
Okay, so here we have a woman being accused of the man who took her to wife, saying that she had been touched, and making accusations of this woman. And then we have the damsel's mother and father speaking and coming forth on her behalf to hold her dignity intact and say, hey, we have the cloth, the token of her virginity here as proof that there was a fair exchange. Okay. And then it goes on here in verse 18, and it says, and the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. Okay. And
excuse me for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay.